Everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'll do a new video on PostgREST and not PostgreSQL, which might be very similar in your mind. But PostgREST is actually a RESTful API solution that is basically packaged to work, plug and play with Postgres, which makes building an API layer between your client and your database way easier. So today in the video, I'm going to go over a basic example of how you can get started with it. How you can set it up with Docker containers, and how you can basically test it at the end. So I won't explain anything related to the client or whatever. This is basically any HTTP server. So it could be if you have a Vite application or React or Flask, whatever language it is, as long as it's an HTTP server. In the backend, same thing. PostgreSQL, very vanilla, can be any type of PostgreSQL database you have, with extensions, without extensions, whatever it is. And in the middle, this is where it really shines. So we have our PostgREST, middleware, that the whole goal is basically to take the requests from the client that are HTTP requests, map the URL path to schema objects, check some roles for authentication related against the database. And then if we're in after the roles, then we can generate SQL to query the tables or anything else based on what was requested by the HTTP request, and then return the rows and convert them as JSON for the client. So we're basically going to go into how to do that today. So stick on for the ride. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is get our Postgres database up and running. I personally already started, but I can show you how to start it. So if you go ahead and just do docker run, so let me just remove the little characters. But if you do docker run, I already have a container running on it. But if you do docker run, we're going to do the name of the container is going to be tutorial on port 5432 in and out. And we're not going to use a password, which don't do that if you're not working locally. I'm just doing this for the sake of this video. And basically, we're going to use Postgres 16 as our base image, but you can use any Postgres image. So since I already did it, I won't go into that. And now we have basically, hopefully, our database running. So as you can see, it's running right here. I created it 7 minutes ago, and it's ready to go. So the next thing we're going to want to do is prepare by pulling our PostgREST image. So PostgREST is available on the Docker Hub. So just do docker pull PostgREST /PostgREST and get your latest image to have it locally. And now after that, what we're going to want to do is start preparing our database for the connection to Postgres, right? Because like I said, in the diagram, there's a few things that Postgres does, which is, mapping to schema objects and also looking at roles and authentication. So we need to prepare that part before we're even ready to generate SQL to query those tables. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just get into your container and execute pSQL to be able to query your database and interact with it, right? So you could do docker exec hyphen interactive. Then we're going to do tutorial and pSQL at u Postgres. And this will basically connect us to the Postgres pSQL interface. And now what we're going to want to do is start creating basically the tables, the schemas, the roles, and whatever that we're going to want to access, right? So I'm going to start with the base structure of, what do I want to access in my specific database via the Postgres interface. So I'm going to use a basic example, which is just a to-do table for that. So the first thing we're going to want to do is the best practice for security purposes is to create a separate schema. So if you do create schema, then just call it API. So we're just going to create a separate schema. And now in that specific schema, what we're going to want to do is create a table that is isolated in that specific schema, right? So simple 4-column schema with an ID that auto generates a done flag that basically is a boolean, so it's gonna default as false, and a task and a due date. So if we do that, we just have a table here. Now let's just clear that, and we're just gonna insert some basic data in it. So we're just gonna insert into API.todos, and then what we're gonna do is task values, and then we can do something like a basic task like finish tutorial, and let's just do another one. So just like this, and the other value could be something like I am a data engineer, something like that. And so if we insert that, basically, forgot the semicolon, but if we insert that, we're gonna have data in our API to do. So if we do select star API.todos, from, we basically are gonna have data in there. I forgot the hyphen. Sorry, so just there. So now that we're ready to basically further on with the steps, we're going to go into anything related to authentication and role granting. So let's just remove that. And basically what we're going to want to do is create a separate, a separate role that's going to have access to the data, right? So that we don't basically allow either a Postgres user or something like that to have access directly. So what we're going to do is basically create a role. So let's just call that role web anon, and web anon is just gonna have no login. And the reason we want to use no login, it just means that it cannot connect directly. It can only be switched into, and we're only gonna give him the read access. So I'll explain a bit later what this means, but it's just for now the set of permissions that we're gonna give him. So now that we've created it, we're going to want to grant him some roles, right? We want him to have access to the specific schema that we just created. So grant usage schema API to web anon. So on that specific API schema, we're going to give the role that we just created. So that was just granted, and then we can grant select because we only want select for now. So let's just do API to-dos. To web anon, and then once we've done that, we just granted select access to our table, so you can insert. Now no login means it can't directly connect, it can only be switched into. So basically the next step we're going to do is create an authenticator role to be able to have access to this data. So we're going to have basically our new role that we're going to create be the entry point to basically be able to, after that, switch into our web anon that has the permissions related to the table. This way, you cannot actually use the user that you pass in your connection string to query the tables directly. You switch into the second role to do that. So I'm going to show you how you would do this. So basically what we're going to do next is create our new role, right? So create role authenticator, and then this one's going to be no inherit, which means that he's not going to inherit any permissions from before. Like that, inherit. And basically we're going to give him a password that is very simple for this example, but we're going to do my secret password, and we're just going to create that role. Now we have our authenticator role that is created with this password, and we're basically going to grant our other role, so which is web anon, to authenticator, which means that the authenticator role will be able to access the web anon role inside the database once it's connected. So this way, it's actually safer that you cannot connect with the web anon role directly from the outside, which has the roles to the grants to basically be able to select the tables and do other operations on the database. So now that we've done that, we are basically ready to test our things. So we have our setup done. So if we exit that, now what we're gonna want to do is just start our container related to PostgREST. So in my personal setup, what I'll do is I'll have my database running, and I'm gonna add my Postgres instance as a second container to be able to run that in parallel of my database. All right, so now that we've done the setup, we're basically ready to start our PostgREST basically server, and I'm going to show you to do that with this Docker command. So I'm just going to have it prepared here for you guys. So basically, I'm going to walk you through everything, but we're just going to start the container like this, and we're going to specify the DB URI. So as you can see, we're using the authenticator role to log in. As I said, we're not using web anon directly because it has the rights and we don't want to use it directly. We're using the password we've set up, which is pretty simple. Don't use it in production. And we're specifying the IP. So the IP is basically the one that I've gotten from the Docker network. So you could expose if you wanted that service, but I don't recommend exposing your database. That's not a good idea. So one thing you can do is Docker inspect your database, your container, and you're going to get basically what is the IP address of your container. So you can bind it and put it as static if you want it, so this way it never leaves the Docker network itself. And then we have the port, which is 5432, with our database called PostgREST. And then after that we have the schema we want to expose, and it says schemas because you could put another schema if you wanted, but we're just going to use API for now because that's the only one we have. And then you can specify the PostgREST DB anon role, which in our case is going to be web anon as we've set up. That has the roles, and we're going to expose it on port 3000 and externally and internally, and we're going to use the image PostgREST. So if we run that, you can see that the server has started, successfully connected to PostgreSQL 16.13, and connection pool is set as 10 per default, and you can see it loaded one relation as of now, as we're basically starting the API gateway. So now we're basically ready to test it. So if we test it and we go like that, and we just do our curl command. So if we just do curl, and then we do HTTP, just like that, and we do localhost. So let's do localhost 3000, and let's just do to-dos. And this way we're actually getting to-dos. So we're getting the data from our API gateway directly talking to our database. So there's no logs for this, but we can see that we're getting the data via the curl command, and we could actually add some filters on top of that command. So let me show you a bit of example of how you could filter that data. So you could do something like let's say curl, and then you can do HTTP / and then localhost, and then 3000, and let's just do to-dos, and then you could add filters on top of that, right? So you could add only specific fields that you want to query. So let's say you want to do only ID, you could do ID, so it would only return you the IDs. If you wanted to add a specific filter, you could do something like let's say the task. We want to check the task and query that the task is like fuzzy match engineer, like this, and you can see that returns us one row, and it was pretty fast, so that's very cool. And now we could do others like let's just do done EQ, and then we're gonna do true to check only the records that are done as true. So you can see all of our records are false, so it's not going to return anything. But if we change it, let's say, we're going to get some records. So as you can see, PostgREST is really polyvalent. You can do a lot of you can do a lot of things. You could also combine filters if you wanted, right? So you could do something like this, and then add an end, and then just add another filter, and it would filter like that. So there's really a lot of things you can do. You can play around and test with your data, but it's really a good way to isolate your database and not query it directly in your client. If you don't want to have to create a whole separate API layer, it's really a plug and play solution. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. It will be my pleasure to answer them, and I'll see you guys in the next one.